Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm delighted to host this conversation on women shaping the future of AI. The UAE has become a global hub for women in technology with 95% literacy among Emirati women, 56% of STEM graduates, and thousands trained in AI and digital transformation. Yet, globally, women hold just 22% of AI-related roles and 16% of leadership positions. G42, we believe that the future of technology is not only intelligence, but also inclusive and human-centered. I'm Maymee Kurian, Group Human Capital and Culture Officer for G42, and it's my privilege to moderate today's panel. Joining me are four remarkable colleagues: Neha Gupta, Chief Financial Officer for Co42, Donya Fredj, Deputy General Counsel at G42, yoo-hoo! Amna AlSuwaidi, Bioinformatics Specialist at M42, and Afra Almusayebi, Senior Operations Engineer at Khazna Data Centers. Yay, Afra. So let's dive in. We have 30 minutes. We start with cross-functional leadership in AI innovation. If we simply imagine AI roles, as AI roles that creates AI roles that sells AI, and AI roles that enables both sellers and builders, AI does not just succeed in silos. We have all of those enabling services also that requires to support AI creation. How do you navigate the complexity of bringing AI from concept to real-world impact in your respective roles? I'm asking this question to all four of you. You can answer one after the other. What unique perspective does your function bring to responsible AI deployment? Neha, can you start?
The industry we're in is growing at an unprecedented rate. There are trend followers and trend setters, and I think where we've landed up quite naturally by virtue of being part of this industry is actually setting what this trend would be one day at a time. It's at the end of the day, every single function needs to come together to make sure what we're doing for the organization is right. All the ones that you mentioned, from operations to finance, legal, regulatory, HR, all of us need to jointly develop what's right for the company. Deep diving into finance in particular, all the investments that we make, whether on infrastructure or product or in our day-to-day spend, everything needs to have a return. The ROI becomes key for us to manage, which is something that we have been doing not just at Core 42, but also very consciously across G42. As the financial gatekeepers, it's our responsibility to ensure, while we're keeping up with the pace of all things AI, everything that's going on in this industry, we're also maximizing shareholder value. And that is essentially how we as finance are responsibly driving AI.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to invite you all to take a look around. I can see most of the audience are women, so we've checked that box and that mark. I believe this is a long overdue panel. Women in AI, I think we're all excited for it, and it shows. Coming back to the question about functions and that silos, especially in Khazna, I would say, being part of a journey that transferred between two roles, starting on the operational aspect, where we had that female presence in AI, but it was about creating the infrastructure itself, designing it, building it, and then operating and actually exporting the AI technology, and then moving on to these business roles when it comes to engaging, partnering, and creating and sending that AI message across. So I actually believe that not only coming back to the woman factor part of it, that we can be in all of these sections, but as what we do is our message is to create that responsible infrastructure, not in the sense of resiliency, as it's famous with data centers, but also in the sense of how to make it sustainably and responsibly. When we're building our data centers, we're not only thinking of down the end, how would these applications run, but we're thinking on the back end of it. How are we affecting the infrastructure? How are we impacting the sustainable resources? Can we go greener? Can we do better? Can we use less? And it's about also making that decision. Although we are exponentially raising when it comes to the demand of data center, we're not building unless we have capacity. So we're not irresponsibly using these resources without an end user that is guaranteed in the end.
Hi, everyone. So when I tell people I'm a lawyer, I don't always get the most enthusiastic response. Yeah. I think historically, lawyers perhaps, particularly in in-house teams, have been seen to be blockers for the business or blockers for innovation. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. And so what's the way we like to kind of operate at G42 in the legal team is to be as close to the business as possible and to be seen as enabling innovation. So although we don't have the sexy role of like an AI engineer, I do think legal is, an integral function. And that's why actually I love the question that Maymee posed, because it talks to how, there are so many different functions, but for AI to really succeed, they can't actually work in a silo. They all really need to work and collaborate together. And I think when we're approaching like an AI concept at the outset, for us, it's not just looking at, the legal principles like intellectual property or data rights, but it's also looking at transparency, accountability, and fairness. And it's also about building trust, not only, with our partners like Microsoft or regulators to show that we're leading responsible AI, but also trust internally with the engineers and the people building the AI systems so that we can allow them to do their job and experiment, but responsibly. So yeah, for us, I think it's all about kind of enabling innovation in legal.
Thank you, Donya.
First of all, thank you for having me in this interesting panel. And to my field in bioinformatics, collaboration is everything. To make AI works in real healthcare settings, we need to connect data science, technology experts, clinical teams, and my role bridge that. So I turn the complex biological data like genetics into something that doctors can actually use. And that would turn AI from a concept to real impact.
Yoo-hoo, such enthusiastic people around, actually. So I'll pose my next question to Neha. Neha, you mentioned that in finance is a gatekeeper in general for an organization. So many AI initiatives struggle to scale beyond pilot stages. How can organizations balance financial discipline with innovation and inclusion while not just being extremely controlling?
So before I moved into this role, for me, everything was pretty binary. It's either here or there. Having joined this industry, and Core 42 in particular, what I have realized is every product has a life cycle, has a journey. We go from R&D, the research and development, to the proof of concept, to production, and then you naturally sunset what you have developed. The journey from research and development to POC is actually natural, it's quite gradual. Financial discipline comes in when you realize that a POC may not always go upward into production. Recognizing this fast, failing fast, basically what people say, recovering, course correcting is the most important thing. In my humble view, what I have actually seen many organizations do is spend more money in the POC stage just to justify the initial investment made. Again, comes back to the point of the pace at which we're going. Not everything will stick. We just have to make the best of the resources that we invest and not brood over certain failures that we have. But this is, for me, the best way of managing financial discipline without getting too technical about it in an accounting or finance way.
Thank you, Neha. Donya, can I direct the next question to you while you are not the sexy engineer? Why does diversity matter in building ethical AI systems? And how can women leaders ensure technology serves everyone fairly?
Okay, so I think everyone here should know that AI is inherently biased, because essentially it's the people that are creating those systems that are kind of feeding in their biases, their ideas, their thought processes. So diversity is critical to ensure that you have AI systems that really work for everyone. And I think that can be achieved through having diverse teams and making sure everybody has a voice in the room and creating spaces for people to do that. What women bring, I think, is an ability to contribute to that kind of inclusive leadership and bring kind of more, I guess, more of a human-rooted value. They bring, empathy, collaboration, accountability, maybe more of a kind of a long-term vision. And so that's why I think it is critical to have, women kind of not just actually contribute, but long-term, hopefully kind of lead the conversation and contribute to strategy, as well as just, from a legal perspective, we shouldn't even just be thinking about compliance, it should be strategy and business.
Thank you, Donya. Amna, biometrics and AI in healthcare are among the most complex and rapidly evolving fields in technology. And they remain heavily male-dominated globally. I'm so glad that you break in, actually. As a woman working at the cutting edge of precision medicine at M42, that we are very proud of you, what has your journey been like? And what do you see as a unique value that women can bring to shaping how AI applied in healthcare and life sciences?
So my journeys in bioinformatics and AI started when I studied biomedical engineering. I've always loved bringing biology and technology together, using data and science to understand the disease better and also try to improve people's health. So when I entered M42 bioinformatics team, there was only one woman in the team out of 9 men, and I became the second. So the field was quite male-dominated back then. But now I'm glad to see more women joining our team and growing in this field. That's why I always encourage more women to join the field, because we need diverse voices. We need diverse voices because this will help us push the innovation and science forward. And also, having more women in the table doesn't just bring balance, it brings new perspective, creativity, and new ideas. And let me tell you how we use the AI in healthcare. One of the main projects that I worked in was using proteomics and machine learning to predict the diabetes category. So we worked with the ICLDC Imperial College Diabetes Center to have the patient samples and their clinical data. And then we used the proteomics and the AI to predict if the person, if he is like healthy or at risk or already have diabetes. So using the proteomics And proteomics simply mean studying the proteins in our blood. And those thousands proteins tell us a lot about what's happening inside our body, even before the symptoms appear. And that's what makes it different than the traditional test. So when we combine the AI and these biological data, we can move from treating the disease into preventing it before it starts. So that means early detection, better prevention, and more personalized care. That's why I feel it's exciting to use AI, because it will help us manage chronic diseases like diabetes. And also it will help reduce the serious complications that come with it. And when I was working on this project, I always reminded myself that this is not just about algorithms and data. It's about real people, real families living every day with diabetes. And that mindset kept me focused on how can I use AI in a way that will help us not to just understand the disease, no, but to help us how to improve the people's health and let them live better life. So I think empathy is just as important as logic. And this is what's unique about women. We bring special thing, we care. We look beyond the data and think about the people it represents. And that balance of heart and mind kept us focused on what is the patient or people need. And this will help us build technology that really support the healthcare. And I'm glad that in M42, I am in a team that supports women in science and support our ideas. And together, we will build a better future. And I believe more Emirati women will keep leading that change in AI and bioinformatics field. Thank you.
Thank you. So M42, with the healthcare facilities, the empathy, the AI, it's so important. And I have the same question for data center, Khazna. Globally, women still represent a very small fraction of AI professionals.
Yeah.
What strategies work best to attract, retain, and promote women in this field?
Okay. I actually think it's kind of unfair to jump straight through it without acknowledging what was just said here. Again, I'm just blown away by the size of the impact that we've said through these stories. And this just shows, or it just backs up the testimony that women are largely underrepresented in this scale. Because look at what we can do when we are. Statistically, actually, it's more shocking that in the data center workforce, only 10% are women. And I would say that this percentage is also largely maybe reduced in this region as well, specifically. I'm not trying to compete with you, Amna, but if you were second, I was actually the first woman in data center in Dubai, right? So I truly, and it's a clap for everyone really, because I truly understand the feelings that you get when you step into it. It's not only from a technology aspect, there's also a bit of intimidation, a bit of maybe lack of confidence, and then just wondering if you are maybe in the right place or if you're challenged with the right mind, or is it just the perception of gender, okay? I won't turn this into a sexist conversation, but I think the idea is we managed to find a pace where we look beyond that, okay? I may have been the first, but I'm sure not the last. Specifically, what we do at Khazna is we started with something called the Graduate Trainee Program. So we're no longer looking for someone that is on experienced shelf or a woman that's introduced in the industry, because we already know that they're very little and scattered across the whole globe. So we focused on retaining these possible talents from the university level and then harboring them through the correct, I would say, certifications, qualifications, giving them the strength, the science, the knowledge, the capability and allowing them to use AI in order to create AI, harboring that concept. And then from there, we've triggered the second program that's called Fursa. So Fursa in English means a chance or an opportunity, where you're taking these women after they have been, I would say, qualified or empowered in terms of knowledge, and giving them that chance to lead, allowing for diversification and inclusion. And I would like to invite actually everyone to witness the Khazna stand after this panel. Look at the number of women that are on the stand. Have a chat with our colleagues. They each have a story of how they got here and what they're contributing towards AI. I mean, we have finance, legal, we have biometrics, but I'm sure that we have much more. How do you retain this? You retain this through culture, through engagement, through providing the empowerment, through allowing that conversation of women that should not just be there in order to represent a percentage. We should stop trying to close the gender balance by just filling roles, but actually positioning these roles as possible leadership. Thank you.
Thank you for that passionate talk. Let's actually forget and forgive the past.
Yeah.
And if we think of the future of women in AI, I have a question for all of us before we conclude today's session. Looking ahead, what is your vision for women in AI leadership in the next 5 to 10 years?
You can go ahead.
All right. We already have a lot of powerful women in AI who are practically role models if you look around, but to the point that all these lovely ladies have made, it's not enough. The next 5 to 10 years should be about bringing around a lot more gender balance, bringing around a lot more women in leadership positions, representing boards, representing the executive levels that we have across every single organization in AI globally.
That's amazing. I think I'll pick it up from there. I hate the 5 to 10 year question, so I'll put the responsibility on you. You're witnessing this moment with me, both ladies and our men colleague as well. In the next 5 to 10 years, or even starting today, take a look on your right and your left hand side and see how you can help your colleagues. Women, we're not weak. We don't need the help in the sense that we need someone to raise us above, but we know the direction. We are in a country that provides the opportunity. We are in a country that provides the initiative. You just have to take that leap and take the first step forward, right? So in the next 5 to 10 years, I actually want myself, everyone in the panel, and everyone over here, both men and women, to be in a better position, because AI is already shape-shifting the world. We already have these grant opportunities, so let's each be a leader of one of them. I mean, why not, right?
So for me, it's all about, I think, seeing women in leadership positions and seeing it as something normal and expected, to the point that I would hope in 10 years' time, we don't actually need to have a panel like this called Women in AI, because it's so normal. You just have a people in AI panel. On a personal level, you know, being in legal, what I'd love to see is women not just in kind of management roles, but actually at the C-suite level, perhaps, which is increasingly difficult for women, right? They tend to get to the management level, but then to get that step up is quite challenging. I'd love to see more women on boards. You know, my personal goal, I have to say, is to be on a board of directors within the next 24 months. We'll see if I manage that or not. And to see, like, from a legal perspective, women also contributing to regulatory frameworks and really driving innovation and compliance.
Nowadays, we see women in all fields. They are successful in all fields, from labs to space. And wherever we are, we bring creativity and we bring our special touch that make a difference. And I believe in the next few years, we will see more women leading the innovation and also having major innovation projects, and they will show the successful and improvement in the AI field. Thank you.
what we've heard today, when women lead in AI, technology becomes more human. It reflects empathy, diversity, and courage. A round of applause to this impactful women here. Thank you very much for your time.